Hi, this is my Lightning Javazon build guide for Perforexile 0.2. I use two main skills, Lightning Spear for clearing, which throws a spear and splits into multiple lightning bolts on hit. When you consume a frenzy charge, it first splits into 3 other spears, which then all split into lightning bolts. The bolts can chain and fork an extra, so I use Vault support for additional clearing, and it can chunk a rare monster well by bouncing off the minions surrounding it. I like to pair it with Barrage, which is a short cooldown spell that repeats your next bow or spear attack. It can also consume a frenzy charge to repeat an additional time, so I link it with perpetual charge support, so it has a chance not to remove a frenzy charge. While clearing, I generate the frenzy charges using the Combat Frenzy persistent buff, and an electrocute support gem on Lightning Spear. Unfortunately, the cooldown has been quite heavily nerfed. I link the Profusion gem to often get an additional charge when it procs. For bossing and tough rares, I use a combo of Sniper's Mark and Storm Lance. Sniper's Mark generates a frenzied charge when you crit the marked enemy, and you have enormous crit chance thanks to the Amazon Ascendancy node, which I recommend grabbing after your first trial. Storm Lance plants a spear in the ground that zaps nearby enemies. It can consume a frenzied charge to zap 7 times in 1.5 seconds, and then detonate in a bunch of bolts which deal massive damage. You can have up to 3 large spears by default, and 1 more with quality and 1 more if you use Overload support. But for now I just use Scattershot to have the 3 large spears in one shot, and alternate marking the boss or rare, and throwing the frenzy charge Storm Lance, which will then crit and proc the mark to generate a new frenzy charge. By the way, for bosses it's best to swap the Profusion support from Combat Frenzy to Sniper's Mark, but if like me you're pretty forgetful, you can just leave it in Sniper's Mark, you'll just have a little less frenzy charges while clearing. You also have access to Infuse Weapon through the Amazon Ascendancy, which adds a lightning explosion to your 2 next attacks after consuming a frenzy charge. It helps a bit with clear and boss damage. I use it to apply shock and lightning exposure with support gems. That was my second Ascendancy unlock, but you can instead go for Predatory Instinct, if you prefer, which will boost your boss and rare damage by a lot. During the campaign you can progress with Whirling Slash and Twister until you unlock Lightning Spear and Storm Lance. In the beginning you will not have access to Sniper's Mark or Combat Frenzy to generate frenzy charges, so you can instead do a combo of Explosive Spear, which detonates your large Storm Lances. Use the Expedite support gem to lower the detonation time, and just alternate throwing an Explosive Spear and Storm Lance on the same spot. For the passive tree it is very similar to Lycosidae. We go bottom right and grab the attack damage nodes. You want to respect to the accuracy branch after your first Ascendancy node. You can zoom through to grab the spear nodes at the bottom and dance with Death, which grants you 25% more skill speed while your offhand is empty. Early on, Storm Lance with Scattershot is really slow, so I recommend it. After you unlock the crit Ascendancy node on your first trial, you should spec into some crit damage, and also getting the chance to blind and the chance to maim, because this reduces the evasion rating of the enemies, so it boosts your crit chance from the Ascendancy. Also grab some electrocution nodes once you unlock Combat Frenzy, so you can reliably electrocute packs. And once you get more than 2000 accuracy rating, you should grab Falcon Die for increased attack speed. Alright, that's all for now. I will of course make updates to the build as I progress through the endgame, so please subscribe to keep up to date and help me gain a few cents out of the ads you have to watch anyway. You can also follow the progression on twitch.tv/Victro. And while the sun is still up, I'm gonna touch some grass. So have a nice one and see you next time.